Today on Light of the Word with Pastor Ray.
There's many of us, and all of us have the same place that we can come to. We think we walk away from it, but then life happens and we come back to it, and we can just feel my heart's never going to beat again. This earth is so painful, and the things I've experienced are so hurtful. My heart is just numb and dead. And God speaks a word right here where He wants to speak to you today. You don't have to wait for heaven. Listen, this is all faith has to do. Tell your heart to beat again.
Open your heart to us, Lord, so we can know your word. We come before you, Jesus. Speak to our hearts as we discover your love for us. How wide, how deep, how far. Pour into us so we can learn to follow. One surrender at a time. You have made the way for us to know you, a path that's straight and right. By the light of the word.
You're in good hands if you're in God's hands. When life tries to knock you down with hard times and dark days, God can pick you back up on your feet. He can guide you through it and give you peace in the process. In today's message, Pastor Ray wants you to remember God in all areas of your life. The world can steal your joy and happiness if you give it too much attention. Remember your time with God and grow close to Him first, so He can work in you, and so you can always know His will. Well, let's join Pastor Ray in the book of Job, chapter 15, for today's edition of Light of the Word.
I think there's a place that we simply just say, Lord, just hold me. I don't need anything else from you. I just want to sit here at your feet and just be held by you. Hear your heart. I think one of the greatest, there's so many things in the Bible, but I tell you who I would love to have the moment. I would love to have John that day in that upper room on that Last Supper and get to rest my head on the chest of God and hear His heartbeat. A heart that would be, John, I'm beating for you. And we'll talk about the heart beating again as we move through this, but why a new heaven and new earth? Well, Job 15 tells us, and as we read Revelation through and we see Satan, he's polluted this world. Sin has polluted this world. And he's not going to just fix it up. He's going to totally make it new. In the beginning, God created. It's a beautiful thing for us because this moment that we're reading will be here. We're going to get to see creation all over again. We're going to get to watch Him say, let there be. And it's going to, in the moment, in the fervency of 2 Peter, it dissolves. And in a word, in a spoken moment's blink, it all appears. Fascinating to watch this. But the earth is polluted. Sin has polluted it. He's going to totally destroy it all. I love it that it says no more sea. I'll talk about that for you surfers and fishermen. It's going to be okay. But Micah 7 says, it's a wordism for us, that's what He does with our sin. He puts it into the depths of the ocean. You know the cliche we like to say, as far as the east is from the west, we also like to say, He takes our sin and He puts it into the depths of the ocean and puts no fishing. No one's going to go and fish and pull out past sins and present it. How about this? It's buried today in the depths of the ocean. And I love the idea that He says, well, I'm going to throw that sea away as well when I make a new heaven and a new earth. There will be nothing that can link back to you and any of your past failing. It's a beautiful picture that He gives us. But interesting enough, what we're reading in Revelation 21 is actually spoken in Isaiah 65, verse 17. For behold, I create new heaven and new earth, and the former shall not be remembered or come to mind. There's two words in the Hebrew, and so I'm going back to Isaiah 65 written in Hebrew. There's two words in Hebrew. You who were students of the Word today in our school, I should call on you and see if you were listening. But two Hebrew words for create, bara and asa. The word bara means to create out of nothing. The word asa means to create out of existing material. So if I was to build a house, I'd bring in lumber and nails and shingles, and I would assemble out of those. Bara means nothing existed, and then God spoke it. Only what God could do. And it says, for I create a new heaven, bara, out of nothing. Genesis 1, in the beginning, God created bara out of nothing. He does what only a God can do, and I think there's a place that we can all just speak once again. You know, he can create out of nothing. And I think we live in a world and a life, and especially the fall, that we put all of our mental processing into what exists. And we try to piece it all together with, this is what exists in my life. This is what is before me, and this is all I have to work with. Whereas God says, I can create out of nothing. You don't have to take yourself into the limitation of what you currently have, because I can create out of nothing. I did it in Genesis. You'll see it when I do it again in Revelation 21. But hey, the Lord would say, I'll do it again right now. And that's why he's telling John, hey, write this down. Make sure none of this gets missed. I know you're in awe, but I want everything captured because there's a people that need to hear it. So no more sea. And people can say, that's a bummer. What did we read? Eye has not seen, nor ear has heard the great things that God has. If you love the ocean, and if you love the sea, I think we all do, then don't we all just have to sit and go, so you mean you're going to create something greater than that? Even greater than what you fishermen, deep sea, come, we'll talk after, we'll dream together. I don't want to go too far down in my distractions. You surfers, man, what are we surfing? Clouds? Maybe the first time I'll actually be able to surf. I don't know, I tried. The board just would sink. And I was like, I think I'm doing something wrong. And so then I would just float on it. And maybe I'll actually get to surf someday, but it's going to be greater than whatever we see now, and God will never leave us lacking. And that's the beauty of what he's speaking here for us. Well, in verse 2, then I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. We're going to be talking about New Jerusalem. We're going to be talking about the bride in the weeks to come. But right now, I'm just going to stay on this one point. There's a new heaven, new earth. The old one's polluted. A new Jerusalem, of course, it has to be recreated, because it's been polluted by the devil himself again. That's why I personally, this is just me, I'm open to see what happens, of course. That temple that we studied that's going to be built, possibly even start building before, we don't need it for any prophetic picture in our life to happen before the Lord takes us home in the rapture. But it will be rebuilt as we studied in the tribulation period. And that one, as we know, Daniel 9, Matthew 24, the Antichrist, probably who's known as the beast in Revelation, will be filled with the dragon, the devil himself. He's going to go in and commit the abomination of desolation. Call himself God. That's when everything will really come unhooked, and the wrath will be poured out against the nation of Israel and against the saints who are in the tribulation period and these type of things. You know what I think? I think when he puts his feet down on that Mount of Olives that we've studied there, as we've studied through Isaiah and Zechariah, I think when he puts that down and says the earthquake happens, it is just literally that temple goes, and so does that dome of the rock, split all the way down to the Dead Sea, and living water will begin to teem in what was once a Dead Sea. And only what a God can do, take what was dead and put new life into it. And that's a promise for us again. He's going to talk about living water for us today who thirst. He wants to put a thirst for the things now, not just tomorrow, into our life. And I think Ezekiel 40 through 48, as we've been studying here in these past weeks, the new temple there, it'll be totally new for the millennial kingdom. And so here we see he's going to make this New Jerusalem, and we'll study more about that as we say. But it's just an amazing thing is he puts it into the only likings that he had is it's going to be so amazing. Here's John. He's on Patmos. It's 90 A.D. John has witnessed what in 70 A.D.? the utter destruction of Jerusalem, the temple destroyed. The Roman legion comes in and utterly destroys it. And then they go up to Masada, as we've studied, and then they come and they just kill all the Jewish people there. He's witnessing all these type of things, and then he just sits there and goes, wow. He's watching a new Jerusalem come down, and the way it's described to him and the way he interprets, it's like a bride. We've done a handful of weddings. I've been in the years of life to many weddings, so have you. And there's just this thing that happens when that music plays, that one thing and one thing only is the awe of a bride. Everything else just kinds of fade away, and they just sit and go, wow. This is what John is. This city is going to be like a bride coming down. It's going to be an awe-inspiring as he looks at those things and sees it coming. But here's what Hebrews 11 says. Because now he's seeing a new heaven and new earth, and now he's seeing a new city. In Hebrews 11, again, Satan wasn't in the HVAC this week, but he was in the Dropbox. Here's what Hebrews 8, the hall of faith, 11:8. By faith, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to the place where he would receive an inheritance. And he went out not knowing where he was going. By faith, he dwelt in the land of promise as in a foreign country, dwelling in tents with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he waited for the city which has foundations, whose builder and maker is God. In verse 13, where I'm going with this is, do you know what people of faith do? And that's what we want to be. They look for the new city. And you want to be a person of faith and say, help me in my faith in this area, this area. This is a place we come, Lord, give me faith to look past this city that I live in, this world that I'm passing through, that I'm just a pilgrim, that I can look to the new city. And this is what the people of faith did, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Verse 13, these all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off and were assured of them, embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. That's all we are. And he wants to bring our hearts to that today to remind us. Write this down, John, so they get their eyes off of this world and on the things to come. Verse 14, for those who say such things declare plainly that they seek a homeland. And truly, if they had called to mind that country from which they had come out of, they would have had opportunity to return. But now they desire a better, that is, a heavenly country. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. Just a beautiful passage of Scripture. And this is what people of faith, we do. You know what? I'm not getting wrapped up. It's okay to have a home, the things that come, the work, and these type of things. But he's making this, hey, Colossians, set your eyes on the things above. Because everything else here is going to dissolve in a fervent moment of fire when I let it all go. Well, verse 3 goes on to say, and I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, I think the Lord is making sure that he speaks loud. And as I was reading this, I go, Ray, you can't just go. And I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, God wants it spoken loud. I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. God himself will be with them and be their God. He's saying it in verse 3 in a loud voice. He's saying it in verse 5. Write it down. Don't come into a sleepy message and say, by the way, we're going to heaven. Come and speak it. I will, notice 3 times, dwell with them, with them, with them. He's come and he speaks, I'm going to be with them. And there will be done with. I love every time we come here, 2 or more, I know he's here. Hebrews 2, when we worship, says he leads us in worship. He worships in our midst. And I love my morning time of sitting at his feet. I love reading his word, and the word became flesh, John 1, and dwelt among us. When I open the word, when you open the word, he starts walking among us. But I'm so looking forward to being out of this old world, this old body, and being able and have nothing in between me and him. Just the sweetness and pureness of his presence, and I will dwell with them. And heaven will have that one thing that will never be, ever not. And there he'll be, walking amongst us. The beauty of this calling with them. Speak aloud, verse 4, and God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. He's going to speak. The first act we're going to see is him speak new heavens and new earth. Then the first act, think about this. In the new heaven and new earth, first act of God, I'm going to wipe the tears away from your eyes. I don't know what it all is, but I believe this is universal for every one of us. We're going to have a tear for something. I don't know what it all means. Tears of sorrow, tears of joy. I don't know if he'd wipe away tears of joy, but there's some type of tear. When we see it all and we come to this remembrance, even in a new heaven and new earth, in mortal bodies, there's still going to be a grief that hurts us as we remember these things: death, sorrow, pain. Dads do it, moms do it better. Child comes with that tear. You ever see the gentleness of a mother wiping a tear away from their child's cheek? He has to touch us to do this. The King of the universe is going to come to you face to face in this verse 4 moment of your time in eternity for all of us. And he's going to look and he's going to do what only God can do. And you wipe away tears with a hand. You don't speak them away. And he's going to put his hand on your face and he's going to wipe away that tear, because you're going to remember it. I'm going to remember it, all the pain that this world was. But you know, I've come that they may have life and that more abundant. We don't have to wait for heaven for him to come and touch you. And we don't have to wait for heaven for God to do something great in our lives. You ever hear that song? Danny Koke made it the most popular, Tell Your Heart to Beat Again. Anybody hear it? Yeah. Who said it first? Come up here and sing it for us. Anyone? Garrett, come sing. The story I'm going to tell is old, but it's new to me. I just heard it. I didn't know it. I've heard the song a million times, sung it. When I sing in the house, I have to sing low. Someone stop. Tell your heart to beat again. So the story behind the story is a true story. There was a pastor in Ohio who had a heart surgeon who was in his church. So they have conversations just like everyone, and he's talking, and he says, what do you do? You know, I'm a heart surgeon. And the pastor says, wow, I would love to see that for real. The doctor said, I can set that up. You know, they have medical students there. I'll bring you in, put you in the, medical suit and all those things. You can come and watch the whole surgery and be there. And so this pastor gets to come in, and this is who retells the story. This pastor comes in and he gets to see the whole thing. And you can see, these documentaries and these heart surgery, open heart surgery means a reason. They open your chest cavity. They spread it. Amazing technology. Take the heart out of the body. And then the person's on a life support system that can only last so long. And they only have a certain amount of time. They take the heart out of the body, and that's where they repair the heart. Whatever it may be, opening the valve, put a valve, cutting away this, sewing up that. And then that's what he did for this woman. And when he was done, he took the heart, put it back into the woman's body, sewed things back up, and did what the doctors do. You see it. That little tap. And the little tap, the heart didn't start to beat. So he does what? The checklist, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this. It went down the whole list, and the heart wouldn't start to beat again. And the pastor tells a story. He goes, so then, what would be considered unprecedented, that believing doctor walked over to the top of the head of the table, and he leaned down to Mrs. Johnson and said, Mrs. Johnson, if you can hear me, we repaired your heart. There is nothing wrong with your heart. Your heart is perfect. But Mrs. Johnson, I need you to tell your heart to beat again. And miraculously, as only a God could do, at that very moment, the heart started to beat again. And that pastor went and told some folks, and then I think it was Matthew West started to put those words, tell your heart to beat again. And it's a song, like a story of life. We've been devastated by so much pain and sorrow and death around us and so much heartache around these type of things. And God can say, heaven, I'm going to wipe away the tear from your eye, but the Lord would speak to you today. I've come to make all things new. We're going to step into baptismal today because I can wash away your sin and I can give you new life. And he comes and he's going to step into your life. And I think there's many of us, and all of us have the same place that we can come to. We think we walk away from it, but then life happens and we come back to it and we can just feel my heart's never going to beat again. This earth is so painful and the things I've experienced are so hurtful. My heart is just numb and dead. And God speaks a word right here where he wants to speak to you today. You don't have to wait for heaven. Listen, this is all faith has to do. Tell your heart to beat again. Let the life-giving blood and flow of God speak and move through your body. Let that spiritual, life-giving blood of the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world make you new. John 10:10, I've come that you may have life in that more abundant. If you've never given your life to Christ, that devil will sit and tell you, you're a dead man and you will always be a dead man and there is nothing. If you were a dead man, you wouldn't be here. If you were spiritually, if there was nothing that the Spirit of God was trying to reach, then you wouldn't be here. You'd be somewhere else. And so the fact that you're here is God still speaking, say, I can give you this new life, and no matter the pain, I can make things, all things new today. We don't have to wait. Tell your heart to beat again. Just a beautiful story and song that goes with this. And in verse 5, then he who sat on the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said to me, write, for these words are true and faithful. That word, behold, one of the most beautiful, I love it, is it means discover. And there's a place that God will say, discover, I make all things new. Tell your heart to beat again. Get up in life. I give you life in that more abundant. Get up and live it. You don't wait and roll away the stone and walk out of that grave like I did 2,000 years ago and live this life. Discover the life-giving God who can do these things. And I'm telling you right now that I'm going to do them. And he says to John, because John's doing what the rest of us would do. I'd be at this point, I'd be like, what? And God would say, keep writing. Keep writing. Write this down. I want them to hear this. Make sure 2024 group of people in Glen Burnie, Maryland, hear this. But you know what? There's a man on Patmos. He's 90 years old. He's watched the destruction of Jerusalem. He's watched all of the family dispersed throughout the region. He's watching a brutal Nero come and persecute. And waves of persecution, as we studied through, will come upon the church. John, write this down. I'm speaking to you, but those 7 churches in Turkey, they haven't got this letter yet.
You have made the way for us to know you, a path that's straight and bright. By the light of the world.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to this message today. Here on Light of the Word, Pastor Ray is tackling the tough and sometimes confusing book of Revelation. And there's much we're learning here each and every day. The final book of the Bible is a revealing of what's to come. God is giving us clues and insights into the future, just like He does in His goodness and His grace. It's a warning sign for those who don't trust and believe in God and His Word. For those who have chosen Jesus as their Savior and have accepted that invitation, Revelation is merely a prequel to the greatest love story reunion of all time. It's something to look forward to, seeing Jesus face to face and not being physically separated from Him ever again. If any of what you've heard today has you scratching your head in frustration, we'd like you to get in touch with us. You can send us an email to mail@lightoftheword.info. We'd love for you to learn more about this ministry too by going to lightoftheword.info. On our website, there are so many resources, including a companion reading that goes along with this series in Revelation. It's free on our website. This devotional is also available on Amazon and Kindle. Once more, go to lightoftheword.info to learn more. Thanks for listening to Light of the Word, illuminating the heart of God.
You have made